Hello, this is Keith O'Brien. We're here with Erez Levin, founder of Emmett Advisory. How are you doing?
Doing great. Thanks, Keith.
Thanks for joining us. So, first question, sort of an expansive one. Why is attention important and why is there so much visibility and interest in 2024?
I guess I could answer the first question in two parts, why attention is important. I think the obvious one is, an ad needs some level of attention to be effective. Now, the level of attention that's needed, it varies due to a lot of different factors, and we can't measure or activate off of these perfectly at scale, but it's important for buyers to account for them in their buying and pricing decisions wherever they can. The other reason that I think attention is really important is that, and really this is the broader category of media quality, is that not all reach or impressions are created equally. We sort of commoditized media and the landscape using vanity metrics. And in the process, we've seen a lot of waste and missed opportunities. So attention and quality measures really help address that, decommoditize, and assign better value to media. In terms of the state of attention, I would say, we're seeing more and more adoption, more interest. Buyers are proving the value of attention and the need for it, which is fantastic. On the other side, I'm not sure that we've gotten far enough as an industry, really getting the consensus that we need. I'm not, too bullish on getting a standard or a specific definition. I don't think those are on the horizon, but even sort of the broad contours of what attention measurement is, some of the principles behind it, I think those are really important for us to get behind, to really define in a way that attention can become at least a best practice, even if it's not a standard, but that's going to help it really spread to more of the industry.
What are your thoughts on media attention and creative attention? Are those things that should be viewed together or separately, or what's the best way to maximize both of them?
The way I think about it, the digital landscape, as that sort of proliferated, we saw the media ecosystem and the ad ecosystem fragment into so many different placements. There's just sort of millions, hundreds at least of different ad placements and ad experiences that people are exposed to. And so attention measurement or media quality measurement really help understand the relative value of those different types of media exposures. Creative attention, on the other side, is really understanding like what's the right creative that fits in each one of those different ad experiences. And so both of these are really critical. And I can give one very obvious example. In-stream audible video ads, that inventory is really finite and really scarce. At the same time, we have an abundance of outstream muted, usually much smaller players all over the place. Now, you do need the media attention measures to understand what those different ad experiences are like and price them accordingly. But you also need, at least most marketers and most campaigns need to decide because they might want to run different creatives for each of those different ad experiences. So obviously both of them are really critical. And I do think it's sort of the holy grail when you can combine them, but even doing one or the other makes a huge difference for effectiveness.
And so you talked about how, you weren't necessarily holding out for standardization or, coming to one exact definition, but what are some things that, towards the back half of the year that are people should be paying attention to just as more conversation around this and more brands and agencies are looking to embrace attention?
I'd say I connect this to a broader sort of trend that I think we're moving towards, which is quality of all types are going to be much more commonly used, especially by enterprise buyers, starting this year, but certainly into next year and long beyond. I think about sort of three pillars of quality. There's media quality, creative quality, and data or audience quality, and it's all part of this sort of quality era that we're entering. Attention is going to play a really critical role in the first two and in the media and the creative side. But I think it's also going to play a pretty important supporting role in the data and audience piece. And so in terms of what this starts to look like towards the end of this year and beyond, I think we're just going to see that ubiquity. We're going to see these concepts and the solutions spread where it becomes easier for buyers to measure and buy with these different measures of quality much more seamlessly than they can today.
How do you think advances in AI are already impacting attention measurement and will continue to do so?
Yeah, so I mean, machine learning right now, it already underpins so much of the attention measurement technologies on both the creative and media sides. So I suspect, those technologies are just going to get more powerful and faster. But ultimately, what I believe the more important advancements to come are just the solutions that make it easier for buyers to measure, plan, and activate off of the attention and other quality measures. What I hope is that we as an industry don't put too much faith into AI. There will be plenty of things promising, solutions promising AI solving marketing and marketing effectiveness. Some of them will be black box and some of them will be, offer buyers more control with their data and with data science expertise. There's going to be some value in all of those, but measuring the effectiveness and impact of marketing precisely, it's pretty much impossible to do in most cases. So I think that marketers, the humans behind them, they have to play a really critical role in customizing and refining their uses of AIs constantly. I always think of the George Box quote, all models are wrong, some are useful. And so as long as we remember that and we don't put too much weight into these models and too much trust in them to always deliver without us constantly using our human insights, everything that we know about the brands, about all of the other things that are responsible for marketing effectiveness, I think that's going to be really critical to maintain the growth and make AI work really well for this industry.
My final question is for brands that are maybe a little behind and haven't embraced attention as much as some of the industry leaders. What's the best piece of advice to start catching up?
I'm going to break this out into three pieces of advice. The first one is to experiment, really to get buy-in on changing measurement and moving towards these attention-based solutions. The marketer really needs to get buy-in within their organization and align with their agencies and all their other partners. And so it's really important to run experiments and show that added value, that impact to the business in real incremental terms. And so experimentation is probably the number one thing I recommend. The second one is looking for the low-hanging fruit. Experimentation is easy to say and sometimes harder to do, harder to get prioritized. And so for those buyers that want to do this, but it's going to take them some time due to other organizational priorities, they think there are other low hanging fruit opportunities that they can use those same concepts, those same principles of attention or media replacement quality to at least stop overpaying for some of the low quality media that they're buying based off of those vanity metrics and shift their spend towards higher quality media. And this can be done pretty easily, pretty low cost without really hurting the existing measuring KPIs. And so I think everyone should really start there if you can't start with a sort of full blown experiment. And going back to the previous example with online video, it's really easy to just take a look and make sure you're not overpaying for those muted outstream video ads that are misdeclared as in-stream. That alone, that's something that attention measurement and a lot of those providers could help you do, but you can do that on your own pretty easily as well. And then the last recommendation I have, and this is just a little bit more marketing sort of theory wise, but you don't have to outrun the bear, is the analogy that I want to use. Like, don't let the pursuit of perfection hinder your progress. We're not going to get a perfect standard. There is no such thing. I do think that it's too subjective what attention or quality means, but there's enough inefficiency in the market right now. Even some of those simple and imperfect applications of attention or quality, whether you do it yourself or work with a vendor, it's going to give you a competitive edge over your peer set. And so as more buyers start to incorporate attention into their strategies, you don't want to be in the back of the pack because then the bear's on your tail. So what you really want to do is just make sure you're staying ahead of some of your peer set.
Thank you so much, Erez. This was super informative.
Great. Thank you.